The excitement that most Nevadans have for their senior senator, Democrat Harry Reid, is roughly approximated by the sound of one hand clapping. I can do it like that. Yeah. Even back in 2009, only a third of voters surveyed in the state of Nevada told pollsters that they would re-elect him. By January of this year, Harry Reid's unfavorability rating was over 50%. Meanwhile, for the first half of this year, 3 Republicans duked it out for the chance to run against Harry Reid. It seemed like the prize in that primary wasn't just the Republican nomination, but the near guarantee that the winner would be the next senator from the great state of Nevada. Because, no offense to ham sandwiches, a ham sandwich could have beaten Harry Reid at that point. Harry Reid's numbers were so bad in Nevada that even months before the primary, when Sharon Angle, the one on the left there, had 0 name recognition with more than 40% of voters, Sharon Angle was still polling better than Harry Reid. Sharon Angle, of course, went on to win the primary. Thank you, chickens for checkups. And by the time that the primary happened in June, Sharon Angle had a double-digit lead over Mr. Reid. But then all change. Much as Sharon Angle tried to keep the focus on Harry Reid and away from herself, Nevada started to get to know Sharon Angle. Sharon Angle, who has said that liquor should be made illegal, that she'd like to get rid of Social Security and Medicare and the Department of Education, and she would also like us to withdraw from the UN. Why? Who knows? She says a woman who is raped should be forced by the government to give birth to the rapist's child because she calls that God's plan. As Nevadans started to get to know Sharon Angle and her ideas, this is what happened. You see that red line? That line charts Sharon Angle's poll numbers. The blue line charts Harry Reid's numbers. The Senate primary happened here. And that's when, if your name is Sharon Angle, the line started really going in the wrong directions. Things are not really working out for the Sharon Angle campaign. It turns out people do want to talk about her. They want to talk about more than just Harry Reid. They want to talk about Sharon Angle, holy mackerel. No matter how much she runs away from the press at her own campaign events, it's just not working out. And because things aren't working out with the old strategy, because she hasn't surged past the super vulnerable incumbent the way she was supposed to, the way any Republican was supposed to, Sharon Angle appears to be making a change. Instead of trying to keep the focus on Harry Reid, Sharon Angle has now decided that she will run against Keith Olbermann and Chris Matthews and me. John Ralston at the Las Vegas Sun first reported today that a new Sharon Angle email to her supporters says this, quote, "Will you send a message loud and clear that we won't back down by adding $50 or $100 to our total today? Will you let Harry Reid know that we can't be intimidated, that we won't be shouted down by Chris Matthews, Keith Olbermann, and Rachel Maddow?" Sharon Angle running against Harry Reid means that Sharon Angle is losing to Harry Reid. But no matter what she says, she's not actually allowed to swap Harry Reid out as her opponent for one of us here on MSNBC. It is very flattering when politicians think that TV jerks like us are famous enough and scary enough that they can convince their dimmer supporters that they're running against us instead of their actual opponent. If they can convince their dimmer supporters of that, that will scare up some loose change for their campaign. It's very flattering to be considered in these terms. I'll admit it. I'll also tell you that it's pathetic